vatos, you want some warm tones, is it?
Warm tones.
All right, deep breath. How you going, mate?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Oh, Johnny's left me in the lurch, eh?
Oh, wow.
Come on, Johnny, what's going on? So, yeah, just for those of you who are wondering where John is, he's a bit ill today. So, so tell us a bit about what's going on, mate.
Mate, where do I start? Do we want to start from the present or go back to the future?
Go from the start, I reckon.
Well, I was born in Bendigo. No, in regards to, I guess, the music career, do you want to talk about that? Or?
Yeah, let's start there.
Okay,
sure,
cool. So, so I was very lucky. Grew up in a very musical family in the country. So, Dad played guitar and sang. Mum played piano and sang. All my brothers play guitar and drums and bass and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
My sister is very good at karaoke, so she loves that and has a dance. But funny enough, I didn't actually start singing till I was about 21.
Yep.
Played piano and that sort of stuff in my early days, but sort of alluded to it yesterday. But I went to a Chinese karaoke restaurant for a mate's birthday.
Yeah, I like this story.
And so they passed the microphone around and came around to our table, and I said, I'll give it a go, sort of thing. And at this stage, none of my friends had heard me sing and that sort of stuff. And anyway, so I sang a song. Can't remember what the song was.
Working class man.
Well, I think it might have been something a bit more like Backstreet Boys or something. Because that's when they were peaking, right?
Yeah.
And the boys were just like, what's going on here? Like, where's this come from? So anyway, mates and mates, they always get behind you and that sort of stuff. And but then what happened was probably where it all kind of switched for me is that I had this old couple. We're sitting across the way, and the old man came across to me and said, "Son, I can't sing to save my life, but could you sing a song for my wife? It's our 55th anniversary today." Yeah. And I was like, "Okay, no worries." And he said, "Look, I'll buy you some beers and that sort of stuff." So boys were like, "Come on, mate, do your thing." And so at the time, I think Unchained Melody by the Rogers Brothers just came out on the radio, and
what was this, 1962 or something?
Oh, no, I think it got re-released like in the late 90s. Yeah, a little while ago.
Yeah.
Show my age. Yeah. But, I think it got re-released and went number, I think some movie came out, but anyway.
I think I remember,
anyway.
Yeah.
And so I sang the song, and it's got a lot of crescendo to it and dramatics and that sort of thing, and the whole kind of restaurant kind of just clapped and cheered, and it was great. Yep. But then what happened from there, the thing that really twigged for me was that the old lady called me over, and the lovely lady. She's about 85, maybe even 90 years old. Yeah. And she goes, grab me by the arm quite tightly, and she pulled me in, and she said, "Son, you need to do something with your talent, otherwise you're wasting something right there."
Man, that's powerful from a lady who's probably been through the war, and you know what I mean? Like, it's man, when that happens in your life and someone grabs you like that.
Yeah, and I was just a young buck. I was like 21 years old, and didn't know any better. And I always knew I had like a really strong voice, but I'd done a few karaoke sessions before that, just randomly down in Melbourne. Sort of when I didn't know anybody, I knew I could sing really loudly, but I didn't know how to control it. And so I kind of lose my voice quite frequently and sort of thing. Yeah. And so shortly after that, I started getting some lessons, and then from there, I was living in Melbourne at the time, so went back to Melbourne and I auditioned for this boy band. It was just when NSYNC and Backstreet Boys were like top of the charts, they were number one with Bye Bye Bye, and everyone's backed by Backstreet Boys, so big fan, still a big fan. Yeah. And anyway, so joined this this boy band. So I had to do the audition. I had to try and do this, mock dancing and sort of stuff, and had to sing a few songs, and anyway, made the top 5, and so I got into the band, and then quickly realised that I couldn't dance very well, and the other gentleman who was similar to me couldn't dance either. Yep. And then the two of the other guys couldn't really sing, so they quickly left. We stayed in the band. We turned it from like a boy band into an R&B vocal trio. That's what we call it, R&B vocal trio. Yep. I'm using air quotes here. Yeah. Such a cappella. So we're doing a lot of a cappella stuff, and a lot of 3-part harmonies, and just doing a lot of R&B and pop and soul, that sort of thing. Yep. And from there, we just basically did a lot of residencies in Melbourne, recorded a lot of stuff, toured over to like Helsinki and Germany, went to Berlin to this thing called Popcom. Yeah, right. We auditioned for Sony and BMG and a few other record companies, and so I'm drifting here, mate. So I'm going.
No, that's cool. Like, did you have management, or it was
okay. It was amazing. They put together this girl. She was like 18 years old.
Yep.
But she was just like super switched on.
Yep.
She worked her backside off, trying to get us gigs all the time.
Yep.
Doing our promotion. This is before internet. It was like back when there was MySpace and stuff.
Yeah.
MySpace. Got MySpace.
We're showing our age here now, mate.
Yeah. So she was amazing, and so she was doing everything. Her name was Ella. She's watching Ella Lehaf.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. So she was doing all this work behind the scenes. She basically, her and her family put all the money into it as well, and helped us out trying to get records off the ground, that sort of thing. We went in this songwriting competition, which we won. It was run by Sony actually, and the song that I'd written was called Not the One. It was probably the second song I ever wrote in my life. It was about a heartbreak I went through as a young man.
Yeah.
And we won Song of the Year. So we got it produced by this guy called Adam Riley, who's I think from Song Zoo up in Sydney, and he's done a lot of stuff with Guy Sebastian and Shannon Nolan stuff, and so produced this incredible track, which was pretty cool.
Okay.
And then so from there we did some recording with another mob who we kind of stumbled across, and it's probably another story altogether.
Okay.
Might go a bit later in the podcast.
We might go there. We'll see.
Dark time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, we toured overseas. We went over to Berlin and London to tour this album.
Yep.
And it wasn't us. It was just like, we had this really nice, thick, fat sound when we sang live, really strong vocals, harmonies, melodies and stuff, and the songs we chose.
Yep.
And the recording was just nothing like us. It was just it was a piece of junk.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
Oh man, the amount of times I've heard of that and been through it myself. Yeah, it's what is that? It's like
it's a funny thing. Like when people don't share the same vision as you, or just don't get who you are, or just got their own idea, or they've just got a bunch of old tracks they want to put your vocals on. And it's nothing about you at all. Yeah, and that's what it felt like. You know, and not to be sound bitter or anything, but it was just what it was.
Fair. Yeah, fair comments, man.
So anyway, and we got that feedback. So we, literally the A&R guys from BMG, Sony, that sort of thing said, "Man, you guys are great live, but the album's just not what you are, and it's nothing like it. It was just a piece of junk." Yeah. Trying not to swear. Yeah. And so anyway, basically went back to Australia. I told them 2011. This is like 6 years into the journey, so we're kind of getting a bit tired. We're rehearsing 2 or 3 times a week, trying to get better at what we're doing a bunch of gigs. We're kind of just getting tired of each other and that sort of thing.
Yep.
And then I went to Australian Idol.
Yeah. Is that after you were still in the trio?
No, so I kind of left. It was coming to a bit of an end anyway. We'd done the overseas thing. We'd just tried for 6 years, try and get that record deal, try and get the dream. So we kind of come to that end of that sort of that journey, and we just I kind of realized, I'm not sure what the other guys were thinking at the time, but I just felt like we'd done enough. That was from like 21 to 27 for me personally. And
so 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
Wow.
In each other's pockets, like just touring every weekend, doing residencies, going overseas, going interstate and that sort of stuff. And
did you get close? Like did you have
No.
No? Okay.
Look, we had some interest, and you get a lot of back in the day, A&R guys would come and see you at your live performances, and they chat to you and sort of thing, but there's nothing really was coming close to anything that was serious, But we kept trying. We tried our hearts out, really.
Yeah, well, 6 years, man.
You gave it. And I think because we had that song, that Not the One song I mentioned before, it was so bloody good. It was because it was produced by an amazing producer, and the song sounded like a Backstreet Boys track.
Yeah, awesome.
I'll play it to you after the
podcast. I'm interested to hear it.
But that's actually quite amazing. The way that he produced it and made it sound, and he actually shared our vision and made us sound like we sound sounded as a live group.
Yeah.
But I think to come full circle, I think looking back and reflecting now, the journey was just so much fun. Like, we had so much fun together. We were really good mates. Ella was great, our manager. She was like our mum, even though she was younger than us, looking after us. And as you get old, you just go, how good was that? We had all this fun together, man. Did all these amazing gigs. We had this incredible residency in St Kilda at the place called the Palace, which is like the biggest nightclub in Melbourne. It's like 2,000 18 to 24-year-olds come in there every weekend. And we were basically the start of the show sort of thing every single Saturday night. We had an absolute ball.
God, as a man in his 20s, like, it doesn't get much better than that, man.
Pretty good nights there. And so and they'd always have like these big acts, so we'd always see all the latest and greatest number one hits coming through, and they do their main thing on the main stage, and we get to meet them in the green room at the back. So we just had all these great, cool experiences, So, all the record deal stuff aside, the thing I've loved about performing to this very day and even to this day is just being out there meeting people and having experiences and sharing things, just sharing music. Yeah.
Isn't it funny how, especially in your 20s, I reckon this is definitely true for me as well, as you've got such ambition, as a musician. It's just all about, we want to get somewhere, we want to get somewhere, we want to get somewhere.
Get this.
And totally. And you kind of, in hindsight, you look back and go like, it was about the journey, you know what I mean? It's you're always trying to get somewhere, but the reality is the fun is just, in the journey.
Yeah.
Whether or not you get to where you're, wanting to go, it's
you
don't appreciate it sometimes.
Absolutely,
until you're a bit older.
Yeah. So, do you want to keep going with the chronological side of things?
Yeah, why not, mate? Yeah,
So then I did audition for Australian Idol.
Yep.
And because we've been putting it off. Well, I've been putting it off for a long time to audition because I think Guy was the first one off the bat. That was 2002 or something like that.
Yep.
And so he just went from did amazing things, Australian Idol, because back in the day before Netflix and I can show my age. But there was basically 3 TV stations. There was Channel 10, 9, 7 and ABC sort of thing, and SBS, 5 channels.
Yep.
And so Australian Idol was the biggest thing in Australia. It was huge. And so I was just like, I was kind of holding back, and obviously it was with the group, so I didn't want to pull away into my own thing sort of thing. And so eventually got to the end of that journey with the boy band and auditioned for it. And again, a little bit like that journey to try and get to that record deal. Every time I got through like a stage, it was just like the biggest addiction, the biggest rush in the world, to go from like initial audition up in Albury Wodonga and then coming down to going to Sydney, top 100, top 40, top 20, and then to live finals.
So you got to the finals?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I say I came equal 13th.
Yeah, right.
Somewhere between 13 and 24. That was kind of like
that's like no mean feat. Like that's out of thousands of people. Like, that's awesome.
Oh, it was good. It was good. Yeah. And again, looking back and we're talking about the journey. Like, I had so much fun. Like, I was in Sydney for almost 4 weeks.
Yep.
Excuse me. And all these guys with the top 24 contestants, and they're all awesome musos. I hang out with like Jessica Malboy and all the guys, even from top number 1 to 24, they were all incredible musicians. It was really quite an amazing year. Got to hang out with all these really cool people and just we're jamming every day. And
it's awesome.
There's a lady called Lavina Williams, and she's just got a voice like Whitney Houston. So I was doing trios with her and Jessica Malboy.
Amazing.
Just incredible. Like time of my life, And
what if you don't mind me asking, what were the nerves like going on national TV? Like
nuts.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing to like get up at a gig, you know what I mean, knowing that you know what I mean? It's not getting recorded that pressure.
Well, man, I had a little bit more going on behind the scenes as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So this all kind of links up.
Yeah.
So that album I talked about before, the Crap album.
Yeah.
So we had like a handshake agreement with these producers, right? It was just nothing was in writing. We did the album. It was done 3 or 4 years before I went on to Idol.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was getting a stack of airtime on Idol. Like I was getting as much airtime as what Jessica Malboy and Dean Gore and a few other guys were getting.
Yeah.
And the producer even said, look, we want you to sort of go a long way.
Yeah.
Just pick the right songs, keep your head up, just do the right things. And so I was pretty excited. I felt like I kind of backing from the producers. Sorry,
just back up a bit there. So is that how it works? Like they choose behind the scenes who they want to back, like as the producers?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh man.
Right.
So again, knowing what I know now, I've got a few friends have gone through even X Factor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of the record companies will actually bring guys in that they've known but kept their eyes on for a long time.
Really?
This is probably trademark secrets, but this is kind of.
We're going to get in trouble
probably,
for this.
Well,
I love it.
Anyways, I won't mention names. And so there's a few guys that they choose behind the scenes, and they just kind of go through and do the right things. And as long as they don't muck up and be stupid, they'll go all the way through.
Really? So you they get told early in the piece you're one of the.
Well, they get selected from before the show starts.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the guys that they actually find on the street who are actually amazing and incredible talent.
Yeah.
And so, not saying I was amazing, incredible talent, but I was one of those guys that kind of just went and auditioned, and they discovered me, and I kind of went all the way through as far as I could go.
Yep.
Anyway, so I was getting all this airtime, and basically about a week before the live finals, so biggest night of my life coming up, and I was under stress and
Yeah.
trying to choose the right songs and all that sort of stuff and stay fit and healthy. And I was living in a hotel room in Sydney and had to eat out every day and didn't have even ability to keep myself food and that sort of thing. So I was eating
pressure.
So anyways, so these guys who produced this record from 3 or 4 years ago with the boy band said to Fremantle Media, who owns Australian Idol, they said, "You've got our artist. He has to come off the show."
What?
Yeah. So they, so basically what they did is they just made things really difficult and awkward. So my manager Ella got involved again. You know, and we'd shaken hands and walked away from the boy band. It was all in the past, right?
Yeah.
So she got back involved and was helping me out because she's a good friend.
Yeah.
And these guys were just being absolute, insert whatever word you wanted there.
Did you sign anything with them?
No.
So how do they?
They tried to show evidence that they were that I was their artist, that sort of thing. It was all, by and by, it was all really messy. And basically I had the lawyers back and forth to me every day, all leading up to this one night at the final.
Yep.
And so I got to the very last night before the final, about to go on stage and stuff. And the lawyers called me up and said, "Look, Paul, you're going to go on the show tomorrow. Just do your best and all the best. It's all sorted, sort of thing." So that's the last word from the lawyers.
Yeah. Can I just ask, how? So you never signed anything with these guys? They're just producers.
They were doing things like showing all the emails back and forth. They were just trying to show all the different things, even though there wasn't a literal like a signature from me or anything like that. They tried to show that this is the stuff that we had. We had an agreement, yada yada. And so,
and they wanted you off the show.
Off the show, just
why?
Pure vindication.
Wow.
Pure vindication.
Wow.
I have no idea. Just they were just real. Yeah, there's some human beings in this world that just want to bring you down. Yeah. There's a few getting around. Couldn't believe it. And I was stressed out enough as it was just about the performance.
Yeah.
So it's pretty sleepless nights, that sort of thing. And then on the day, like some really weird stuff happened. I won't go into like I sound like I'm whinging or whatever, but
no, man,
some strange stuff happened on the day.
Come on, into it. I want to hear about it.
Well, okay. Well, I had to. I had this really cool outfit picked out. It was fitted me perfectly. I'm a pretty chunky kind of guy, so you need to have the right clothes. And all of a sudden, they want to change my outfit, and it didn't fit me properly. I was busting out. I was like, "What's going on here?" And
the producers from.
I don't know what was going on, but I had to change my clothes all of a sudden, half an hour before I got on stage. Like, all these clothes I've never seen before, that didn't fit me properly.
Yeah.
My earpiece, I don't ever use in-ear monitors, but I had to obviously for the show.
Yeah.
And it was just blasting, and I couldn't hear anything, couldn't hear the band.
Yeah.
And then like up until that day, like all the judges had supported me. They've been really nice to me, really got behind me, even off stage. They're really cool.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Cole Sandlands was the most awesome guy off stage.
Yeah, yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, really cool guy. And he was an incredible supporter of me during the show. And then like Mark Holt just badgered me. He said I sang out of tune. I just shouldn't be on the show. What are you doing here? Go home, sort of thing. And Cole just didn't say anything. He just kind of shut his mouth up and didn't say anything. And Marshall was kind of the same. Yeah, it was all about Mark Holden just completely just knocking me off my pedal, and I was destroyed.
And do you reckon that's got something to do with?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's my thoughts. And again, I sound like a cynical old bloke.
No. Look, I think
it was just super weird. Everything just changed. I went from being, because I was who I am, a really happy, easygoing guy. I was, kind of brought the whole top 24 guys together. We all organised dinners. I was just got along with everyone really well. Yeah. But then it got to that last point, and then all of a sudden everything just changed. It was like I was just the black sheep in the group.
So that they had, like we said before, they had their front runners already picked before.
Well, I just know what I mean. I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but I just think that in my heart of hearts that they kind of said, look, let him be on the show, because otherwise that was going to cause controversy. Why did Paul go off the show? Yada yada. Yeah. They probably just thought, let him sing his song, and then just get him off.
Wow.
So I didn't go through to the next stage. Wildcard round I wasn't even talked about. It was just like, see ya. Yeah. Goodbye. Yeah. So anyway, that was my little experience. But in saying that, apart from that, like, it was just awesome fun. Yeah. It was great. The journey was cool. Like, I was on the front page of my local hometown Bendigo. I had my old school, like, all these kids and my principal, my teacher. It was just crazy, man. So
all the kids that hated you. All of a sudden, they're your best mate. Yeah, always loved that Paul. He was
not saying I was famous anyway, but I had my little 5 minutes of fame, shall we say. Yeah. And it was amazing how many texts I got from people I hadn't heard from in 10, 15 years, and people I never heard from before. And
could you imagine how many texts you'd get if you won Lotto? It's funny.
Or if you went to number one, or if if you become a superstar overnight, sort of stuff, like all these reality show type people. So so it was super fascinating, just going through that experience of just having a little taste of it.
Yeah.
And it was super weird as well.
Yeah. Man, that's just fascinating because like you often suspect it, you often suspect that it's all sort of planned behind the scenes, and I remember watching The Voice a couple of years ago with my missus, and I'm like just almost yelling at the TV, how the fuck does she? You know what I mean? He's way better than, you know what I mean? It's like,
totally.
It's
and like when the performance doesn't marry up with what they're saying, that's when you just go, what is going on?
It's all just, it's all contrived.
And some of the amazing performances, it's like, oh, it was okay. Like, what? You know?
It's actually if you think about it, like it's a brilliant way to like take an artist or a couple of artists that you know what I mean, and just run them through this process, get them signed up, get them locked in through the process, and then And so in amongst that, it was generally all about the story. Like when I'm not sure if did you ever audition for a reality show? Nah, man. Yeah, not. I don't know if I could do it, mate.
It's pretty hard.
When it comes to dancing, I'm out. Like even, I've always struggled, man. Like I can sing and play, but even just moving on stage, I'm just not a dancer. I don't have any. I'm a white boy, mate.
Me too, mate. Me too.
What I mean?
Two left feet. I'm a bopper. But even like on the audition sheet, they want us to know what's the most horrible thing that's happened to you. And it's all about the story, So anyway, look, interesting time in my life, and I look back, and I'm very philosophical in life, and about things that happen in my life. And I believe there's a higher power.
Yeah, awesome. Mate.
Kind of determines your path in life.
Yep.
And I feel that if I had gone further in that thing, I would have gone up higher in my own head, like ego sort of stuff.
100%.
Because I crashed out after going home. I went back to the job that I kind of didn't really like at the time. Kind of spent all my money, trying to support myself while I was up in Sydney, that sort of stuff. And so I came back. I went through probably 6 months of depression, just trying to get over it.
Really?
So imagine for someone who, like, I had amazing family support, friends, all sort of stuff. So if somebody who didn't have that, or went higher up the chain, or had a number one hit and then they just crashed out, I can just imagine. The hole that leaves in your life, that void.
It's a blow to the identity, you know what I mean? Yeah, you get so invested, your identity gets so invested in who you are in the world.
Yeah, because I had this vision, if even I thought if I could make top 7 or top 8, that generally they generally get either a record deal of some kind, or they get a TV opportunity, that sort of stuff, or you get, you can go and do a year of touring around and doing live shows and stuff.
Yeah, you got the name. You know what I mean? So instead of like, say, I might have lost 10 grand by going through the process, just by supporting myself, by being away and doing all the driving and leaving work and stuff. Someone that goes through that next stage might make 100 grand or 200 grand in that first year. So you kind of hedge all your bets on making it through, and then when you don't, you have this huge crash. So and there would have been, I think, apart from, say, like Guy Sebastian, Jessica Malboy, maybe one or two others. Nolsey. I mean, he's turning around. He's doing well for himself. He's got a good name out there. And but apart from that, there's not too many. There's a few guys that got on TV and stuff like that. But you think there's probably, 500 people have auditioned and got through, say, the live finals and stuff, whatever it might be, with X Factor or Idol or the other one, The Voice. All with expectations. They would have all crashed and burned, just like I did, in a small way. So there's all these tough, man.
There's all these artists out there, unless you've got good grounding or you've got good perspective, they're going to go through some pretty tough times, because they would have thought, oh, what if I had sung this song? What if I had done that better? Or charmed that producer? Or, and you have all these questions in your head going.
Little did they know it was rigged from the moment they it's sad,
It's a lot they can never win, So,
they've already got their horses picked,
Except that might be the odd one that comes through from out of nowhere. But generally speaking, and what I know, especially the X Factor and the Voice,
we've done the Idol.
Done the Idol stuff. Put that behind us. I get exhausted talking about it.
Do you? Yeah. So, then what?
Then I came back from that, back to Melbourne, and met my previous partner. And so I kind of didn't do much music after that. So
why not?
Had a 7-year hiatus. I won't go into too much detail, but basically she wasn't a massive ambassador of me being in a band, and I really knew how to be in a band, so to speak. I wasn't doing solo stuff at this stage. And I love being in bands. Like, I love being a front cover man, man. It was good fun.
The camaraderie,
And I totally get that too. I totally understand. that person's perspective of me being in a rock band out there performing, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that do support you, and so but that wasn't her take on life. So anyway, so I chose the other path, and I basically didn't play for probably 6 or 7 years. So took a long hiatus, and I'm I just had this hole in my soul the whole time. You know,
for sure, man.
Yeah. I think I was saying the other day, like, I run a full-time business as well, which I love, and it's all good fun. But I still do gigs because I just love performing. I just love being out there, love connecting with people, and especially when you get those gigs where you just go, how good was that? Or I do a wedding and people just can't stop thanking you for what you did. And that's the stuff that just makes me feel alive. And
So what was it like being out for 7 years? Was it?
Oh, it was very sad.
Yeah.
At
the time, did you feel that, or like?
Yeah. I mean, I think more time went along. I think you get caught up. We had the babies and that sort of stuff, and so you're obviously busy with that, and started a new business. It's all back in Melbourne at this stage, and so it was just that party that just goes missing, and you always know. I don't know if you ever know you're gonna get back to it, but I just knew that that's kind of what I do. I'm a musician. I love singing. I love performing.
That's who you are.
That's who I am.
Yep.
100%. And so, so I think currently I'm single and looking for the next adventure. And but I think whoever I decide to settle down with needs to be supportive of me doing that.
Absolutely.
And I'm not doing bands anymore. I understand the whole rock band thing's can be pretty full on, that sort of stuff. But now I'm just doing acoustic stuff and a bit of DJing and weddings. So really, if you can't get behind that, it's probably not meant to be, is it?
Oh, look, I think it takes a toll on everything. Your health, in my experience, I was out for 10 years.
Right.
And I was like real serious in my 20s. It consumed my life, music. And I was out for 10 years and same thing, man. Started a business and of my own choice. But
which you loved, right?
What's that?
You love that business, right?
Real estate? Nah. Oh, look, it was good. It was good. It was good at times, but look, man, it wasn't me, and that's what we were talking about this before. You got to be yourself in life, and I think, if you're not passionate about something, you're never going to be successful at it.
That's right.
And I really wish I would have known that early on, because I did 10 years in real estate and I was pretty serious about being successful in that business. For my family, I wanted to buy a house and do all that. And but what I didn't realize at the time is, it just wasn't me. So I was never going to be mega successful at that, because I just didn't have the drive. I didn't have the passion.
That's right. That's right.
Those moments, where the chips are down, and in music, if I go through something that's tough, I'll see it through, because I can. The vision at the end is strong enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, that's it.
Whereas when you're in a business and there's no vision there and you don't really care, it's like you just sort of give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I come across, say, young adults that are going through, say, year 11, year 12, starting to do university, I just say to them, just do something you enjoy.
Totally.
Don't do it for sake of. Because I remember being I did. I was in year 10. I did a lawyer's work experience. And also because mum and dad said, got to be a lawyer or doctor, and they were just trying to be encouraging and trying. Because they were
want the best for their kids.
That's right.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
Yeah. So that old country song, Mama's only babies grow up to be cowboys, Let them be doctors and lawyers, sort of thing. And even going through year 11 and 12, you do your electives and I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't even do music. I should have done music, but I was just looking back,
Yep, for sure.
Doing what I love, and I was doing advanced maths and economics, and I don't even like this stuff.
Yeah, for sure, man. I actually had that conversation with my boy the other day, and because he said to me, he keeps asking me these questions. Is there much money in this, or do these kinds of careers make that money? And I was like, why are you worried about that? Don't worry about the money. Just worry about what you love. Exactly. What do you love to do, and what are you passionate about?
Yep.
And the money will come.
Yeah.
Or it won't. But.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're a musician, it won't,
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? I just think, I tell my kids all the time, all I expect you guys to do is do what you love and what you're passionate about and commit to it 100%. And
100%.
That's, I believe anyway, that's the key to a good life,
100%, mate, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. And I did my first 10 years was in corporate sales and marketing.
Yep.
And apart from one job, which was the lowest paying job I had, was kind of fun, was like being part of the footy, it was like auctioneers, automotive auctioneering. another story.
Yep.
But apart from that, I had Monday-itis.
Yeah.
You know, I'd count my holidays that are coming up.
Yeah.
You know, I'd literally like, right, I've got from Friday 5 o'clock to Monday 9 a.m. That's my joy time.
Feeling, man. Like you know that feeling on a Sunday afternoon. You got to go to work.
So many sick days and stuff like that. Just
gross.
Horrible. So
yeah.
So all I can say, if there's any young kids watching this, just got to do what you love, you know.
Yeah.
And even if you do, let's say you are a musician, you do your 3 gigs in the week or 2 gigs in the weekend.
Yep.
Then do something else part time. Do another small
sure, man.
You know.
It's not as easy either. Like let's be honest about it. It's tougher. You know, it's easy to go out and get a job, and you know you go to an interview. Once you're in, you're in. You know, your paycheck comes in every single week like clockwork. You just got to do it. But there's no like there's no joy in that. There's no soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you got to. I don't know if you're the same, but you know when you're a muso and you know run businesses and do all that. Yeah, it's you go through tough times and you got to scramble. You know. I don't know if you get the same thing. Like cash flow is always tough, but you know
we went through this thing called COVID, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. But
pandemic.
The alternative, man, I reckon is just way worse for me. Like,
totally, 100%.
To be like a robot in a job, like it's not for me.
And I don't think people. I totally get it because they probably just don't know what the other side's like.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be close to broke every week, but
Same.
doing my own thing, running my own passion, than be in a job where I'm just sad and miserable all the time. And I would live for 10 years, so I know full well what it's like.
Yeah.
I actually got a what do you call it? Retrenchment. What's the package you get when you leave? Get asked to leave. Retrenchment.
I think it is.
Yeah. There's something I can't think of right now.
Severance.
That's the one. Severance. Yeah. So I was with General Motors down in Melbourne at stage, and this is when the GFC hit, 2008 or 9.
Yeah.
And I got a heck of a lot more than I was only there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Hated the job, of course.
Yeah.
And got this offer to go, and I remember being in the HR office with the HR manager and the director of marketing, whatever, my head boss sort of thing. Yeah. And they said, "Oh, Paul, you're taking this really well." Like they showed me the package I was going to get. I was like, "I won't show it."
Inside, you were like cheering, like yes.
I obviously was smiling. And I said, "Oh, Paul, you're taking this really well." I was like, "Oh, that's okay, guys. I'm just doing what I can for the team, you know."
Yeah.
Do my part for General Motors. And so I had the next 8 weeks. I just basically got to mull around, do nothing.
Yeah.
It was just like I was going.
Yeah.
And best thing I ever did. And then from there I jumped into teaching yoga and a few other things, did a coaching course and that sort of stuff. But that was the start of me leaving corporate world and just doing my own thing, you know.
Do you think it takes a lot of courage, doesn't it? Like
huge,
yeah. I think that's sort of a lot of the people I've come across who, they really want to do something. They really want to follow their passion, but it takes like massive courage to jump off that cliff and without a net, because there is no net. Like as you probably know, when you're in business, you go through weeks, man, where you're owed all this money. But it just doesn't come through, and you're the cash flow thing. It's the biggest thing, isn't it?
Oh, huge. Yeah. So I mean, I've always had the opinion. So I grew up on a piggery horse adjustment farm.
Yep.
I worked from the age of 3 or 4 or whatever. Just all I ever knew was to work. Every Saturday was working from sunrise to sunset.
Yep.
Every school holiday I was in the piggery cleaning out pig manure.
Yeah. Builds a good work.
And that's right. And so I've always had the attitude that, look, we live in Australia. We've got amazing support mechanisms. If you do fall through the cracks, sort of stuff. So there's always that baseline that you can sort of. You've got enough just to put money on the table and maybe perpetual in your car. I know it's pretty low, but it's still there.
Yep.
But I've always had the attitude that I could always go and dig holes for the council. Or I mean, a couple of times back in my early 20s, I went and worked for an arborist, or I went and got a job at a bar, sort of thing.
Yep.
So I always feel like if you're industrious enough, you always find a way to make some sort of cash. You know?
For sure, man. I've always been the same.
Yeah. I think I always keep saying to people, like, we live in Australia. We're in a pretty amazing country.
Yep.
As far as support mechanisms go and opportunities go.
Yep.
So
totally agree, man.
So even if you do fail, you're better to have failed. Give it a shot and give it your best.
Yep.
Put your heart and soul into it.
Yep.
And the other thing too off that is that you tend to go in these rabbit holes, right?
Yep.
So if you go and discover one aspect of your passion, somebody meet somebody that goes, "Hey, what about trying this?"
Yep.
And you discover this new thing you didn't even know about like 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And that might become like a new thing.
Yep.
Just stuff like that. So
I believe that's called an entrepreneurial spirit, mate.
Yes,
that's what you've got. I love it.
I'll give you a perfect example. So, so I've been sort of quasi DJing at weddings, that sort of thing, for a little while.
Yep.
And I'll give full kudos to Brett Gadini. I don't know how to say his surname. Gadine.
Yeah.
Hello, Brett, if you're watching.
Yeah.
And so, to an opportunity. So I had a gig lined up at the dock think back in January, and I broke my collarbone, right?
Yeah, I remember.
And I was supposed to play with Janice and her husband, and I just realised that if I haven't got my guitar, I'd probably just be harmonising Janice the whole time, which would have been fine.
Yep.
But what happened is that I saw Brett do his raw audio thing at the dock. I was like, how good is this, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And like, he had I think it was Jerome on the percussion and somebody else on the sax and some other instrument I couldn't even recognise.
Yep.
And I thought, how good is that? But I'd sort of had enough, and because I love my dance music so much, and I'll go into this a bit later, but I'm starting to produce a bit of EDM, that sort of thing too, which is really exciting.
Yep.
But he sort of inspiring me to see what he did with that live/DJ act.
Yep.
I was like, well, I could do something like that, you know. So I went busted my backside, went and discovered a whole bunch of new tracks and did this thing. And I asked the manager of the dock, I said, hey, do you mind if I do something like raw audio?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, man. He loves raw audio. So he goes, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I go down to the dock. I've got one arm, carrying my stuff around and playing the stuff. And I got Elijah Madden, who's an awesome dude, and my new bromance.
Yeah.
We came down and did the gig, and it just went off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that was just from taking a leap of faith.
Yeah, man. It's amazing.
Asking a question.
Yep.
You know, this is only a small example, but thanks for the inspiration, Brady. It was awesome. I love raw audio. They're brilliant.
Man, he's such a dude. I saw him at Night Quarter the other night. I couldn't stay long, but just, I don't know, he's just got a presence as well. It's one thing to just, DJ or whatever, but he's like into it. He's getting the crowd going and like dancing. And
that's it. I mean, I genuinely just love dance music. I mean, I get you see a lot of DJs and they kind of just head down and getting grumpy. And I don't talk to anyone. I don't look at anyone. Well, I'm the hype guy. I'm dancing around.
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. It's
cool, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, getting back to probably coming full circle with the conversation is that if you're not passionate about it, what are you doing, sort of thing. So you got to be in love with what you're doing. You know?
I think we've all been there. Like I think it's really tough to just say, I've just lived my passion my whole life. I think everyone goes through those moments, where you got to sort of go back to the grind. You know what I mean? And just like lick your wounds and get a job or whatever. I've been
100%,
there. For sure.
100%. Yeah, I've done all those things. I've probably had 20 careers in the last 20 years. You know?
I'm similar.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit of a curse for guys like us. Like, I don't know if you found this, but when I just fell into real estate, and my biggest problem was I was good at it. Do you know what I mean? I was good at the sales part of it. So, and that keeps you coming back, and sort of I went down this path where I was pretty good at something, but I wasn't passionate about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
So I kind of look back and think, I wish I was shit at it. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause then I wouldn't have gone down that 10-year road. You know what I mean? Like,
it's always, and the flip side of that is almost like, if I hadn't been a musician, I wonder what I would have done. What would have been my thing? But it is what it is. You get given these talents from wherever you think they come from, whether it's from your parents or genetics or fate or the universe or God or somewhere. You've just got to go and pursue it. And and it's funny on that note. Like sometimes when you go to these open mic nights and stuff like that, and you see this absolute raw talent, but there's something that hold them back. Like I had a previous partner, and she could sing like nothing else. But wouldn't sing in front of anybody else. In fact, wouldn't even sing in front of me. I'd just hear in the kitchen. Had the most amazing voice.
Yeah, my wife's exactly the same. Seriously, man. Have you met Danny yet? No. Well, she's in Sydney at the moment. But man, she's got the most incredible voice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anyone who hears it is just like their jaws just drop. But some people are just happy to. They
haven't got the motivation. They don't want to do that sort of stuff. That's cool too.
Where us guys, we're not quite as good in the talent department, but we're like got the drive. You know what I mean?
Man, I'll give it a go.
Oh God, if I only had her voice and my drive, we'd be like killing it.
Well, one of my bucket lists is actually to learn how to play guitar properly. So all I did was watch my dad the whole time growing up, just playing. He just plays with his fingers, never uses plectrum, plays his 3 or 4 chords. And even though my brother was an incredible guitarist, I learned off my dad, and I was watching the whole time, and I never learned how to play properly, So I had to go and find someone like Eddie Duarte or one of those guys and learn how to play properly for once. So.
Eddie, I think Eddie gets a mention in every single one of our podcasts.
I haven't met the guy yet, but
really?
Anyway, Eddie,
he's a legend, mate.
I'll give you a little sponsorship deal there.
Yeah.
So there we are.
And by the way, one of the best guitarists I've ever worked with.
Is that right?
Oh, mate, he's insane.
Yeah, cool.
He's insane.
Yeah.
So
Mate, so here we are. So to end the chronological journey of the Verks.
The Verks. Okay.
Man. And so I guess with all that stuff in the background, It took me a few years to get over that whole chasing the dream thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then I just go, you know what? I actually just really love doing live performance.
Yeah.
I'm pretty okay at it. You know.
Yeah, man.
And I guess you get that from crowd response, and they give you the feedback.
Yep.
And I love it. So I was in a rock cover band just pre-COVID days for about 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
Back in Vegas.
Yep.
Just good fun. You know,
Yep.
just we used to rock O'Malley's and a few other places and that sort of thing. And man, you got to feel like a rock star for 3 hours. How good's that? You know. So you kind of come full circle, and I guess with age and perspective and just life lessons,
Yep.
you just go, just enjoy what you got. You know,
Yeah.
enjoy these experiences.
Isn't it amazing? I don't know if you found this. It sounds like you have. Like when you get a bit older, sort of to our age, and you realise that if you let all that go, just all the ambition and all you want to be something,
Yep.
all of a sudden life gets so much better. And all of a sudden, what I've found is all of a sudden you're more productive. You're actually doing what you wish you could have been doing in your 20s or 30s, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I find even to like, even it sounds a little bit not controversial, but counterproductive. But even with like stuff like promoting the gigs and that sort of thing, like I really do it these days.
Yep,
because
I'm the same.
Cause I just figure, I mean, I did it flat out with the cover band sort of stuff, and used to do all these sort of funny memes and stuff like that, and pushing the events, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I just find that people who are going to go to a gig will generally go to the gig, to a venue, regardless whether you're there or not. I know some people have a following and sort of stuff. And that's cool.
Yep.
I don't think I'm one of those people at all.
I'm the same, man. I agree.
Maybe I've got a lot of people coming down to this Versus Fortune gig. It's a Sunday, but apart from that, like I'm just not. It's not my. What's the word? It's not my driver anymore. Yep. You know, I play for the people that are there.
Yep.
They're there for a reason. They're probably locals or they're visiting. Like I do a lot of gigs in Mooloolaba, sort of thing. Yep. And I'm just happy with whoever comes in. You know, not push. It's just like
for sure, man.
Follow the path of least resistance.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's funny because when I first arrived on the sunny coast, I had to, like it was all about getting myself out there and the promo and all of that. But then, when you get a little bit of a run and you get asked back to gigs, it's more about making sure when you do show up that you engage with who's there. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. Yeah, just sure. being present.
Yep, 100%.
Guru Swami, mate.
Speaking of Guru Swami, I heard you mention you teach yoga.
I taught yoga, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, ironically. I mean, I'm basically the same size I am now. I'm sort of a bit like a rugby fullback. Yeah. So after that, the corporate experience, I just kind of fell into yoga.
Okay. Tell me a bit about that, because I've done yoga once or twice in my life, and mate, I was just like a fish out of water. I'll be honest. Like it was
just so bizarre because like I'm the stiffest bloke in the world. Like still to this day, and even when I was teaching, I was still fairly stiff.
Yeah.
Found it pretty hard to touch my toes, you know.
Yep.
So anyway, very long story short, person I was with at the time, we both did a yoga course.
Yep.
We're both very entrepreneurial people.
Yep.
So we started this little yoga studio above a vegetable shop.
Yep.
And after about 6 weeks of running this classes, this is before the whole kind of yoga boom started. It was just sort of at the cusp of, or the start of it.
Yep.
Came in with like $1,500 cash in my pocket, selling these 10 passes, just these little paper 10 passes. Didn't even have an FOS machine back then, This is back in 2010 or something. And I said to my partner at the time, I said, look, I think we've got a business here, So we, again, took the leap of faith.
Yep.
And we got a full-time studio down in Hawthorne West, which is this little sort of mecca close to the CBD in Melbourne.
Yep.
And it just boomed.
Yep.
And ironically, I was supposed to be the digital marketing guy. That's what I do to this day. And I was going to teach 2 or 3 classes, and my ex-partner would teach about 12, that sort of thing.
Yep.
She got really sick with my first child.
Oh.
And we just opened the doors, literally. So I'm doing, because we couldn't afford staff wages, so I literally started doing about, I think it was 15 classes a week.
Wow.
Now, a normal yoga teacher, a full-time yoga teacher would probably do between 6 and 10.
Yeah.
Like that's enough, you know what I mean? So, so I was doing 15 classes. So I became a really decent yoga teacher in a very short amount of time just through necessity.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I was just supposed to be the background guy. I was doing some auctioneering stuff on the side, and then next thing you know, I'm literally a 7-day-a-week yoga teacher.
And what do you enjoy it? Like, is it?
I did enjoy. It was only for physical reasons.
What are the benefits? Like, because everyone knows sort of what you're told the benefits are, but like, what did you find the benefits of it are?
So it ranges from purely physical, from obviously opening up the body, that sort of thing. The style of yoga I did was power yoga or vinyasa flow, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So it was a very strong style of yoga. So you're doing a lot of push-ups, that sort of thing. So you're building your chest muscles and all your core muscles, every muscle in your body basically.
Yeah.
But then you're getting more into the meditational side as well, and you find because we had a lot of obviously lawyers, doctors, city workers coming in. They were just stressed out beyond their beyond the max sort of thing, and so we just teach them ways to meditate and just simple stuff.
Yep.
And so I didn't get into the deep philosophical. There's a really deep philosophical side of yoga.
Yep.
A lot of Sanskrit stuff, a lot of deep philosophical ways, which can get pretty not muddy, but stuff I just didn't touch. Right, I just kept it real practical.
Yeah, yep.
Just taught people simple meditational techniques.
Yep.
At the end of every class, there's this thing called Shavasana, where you lie down, basically for 10 minutes. After the class, you absolutely pooped after doing the physical exercise.
Yeah.
And then that 10 minutes or 10, 15 minutes was the everyone's favourite bit because you're lying down. But then I'd lead them into like a guided meditation. Yep. And then people would just love that, you know. And so we kind of just found this formula that just worked. And the irony was, because I was this sort of footy loving, beer drinking, pie eating, couldn't touch my toes, yogi, and self-deprecating as well. Because I just
rock singing.
Yeah, no, I wasn't singing this time. The same thing. So, because I was that person, which was so anti-typical yogi, like I wasn't. Most of the yoga teachers who were men, not to be stereotyped, but they were kind of like skinny, scrawny kind of guys, and I was this big kind of dude, from the farm, and kind of talk like an Aussie,
Yeah. And I reckon that would have made it more accessible to.
Yeah. And so
certainly to someone like me.
So all the wives came in first.
Yep.
And then the wives brought all in the husbands, and they were just like me, big fellas, sort of thing.
Yep.
And I just talked their language, and we talked about footy, and I just cracked jokes, whereas most of the other. I guess most that I sort of experienced before I started teaching myself, they were very serious, and there was no joke cracking, and and then I'd go and find all the best music, just really perfect music for the class. Kind of have crescendo during the physical stuff, and then bring it down to the beautiful meditational music for the last part of the class. And then from there, the exciting part was I got a job with Melbourne City teaching them yoga meditation, which led on to Essendon Bombers, St Kilda Saints, and Melbourne Demons. Wow. So I was just like living my dream, just working with all these AFL clubs, my soccer club, Melbourne City. It was a great time. It was a really great time. So that was about 5 years that lasted for.
Yeah. So this is when I listen to your story, like it's inspiring in the way that you can tell that all these chances you've taken in your life, you know what I mean, like not playing it safe, you've taken risks, have led to this like adventurous sort of life, you know what I mean? And
it's really funny because my mum and dad they kind of laugh. I said, right. What's the next adventure, Paul? What's the next adventure? Because my two older brothers, they're like, they've been a builder for like 25, 30 years. Yep. The other one's been with Xerox as a photocopy technician / a Sparky, 30 years. They got the wife and the 3 kids. It's all very settled, and they got
very
their thing.
safe.
Whereas I've just gone career to career to career, different things. Corporate world, teaching yoga, playing music, Australian Idol, touring overseas.
And what do you reckon that's done for you? What do you reckon that's done for you, like versus if you stayed in?
I just think I couldn't have, because again, for the first 10 years in the corporate world, I was just sad and just miserable. I was like, and I was only doing that because I needed the money. Yep. While I was trying to chase the dream. Yep. So it's kind of
Isn't that is just the trap? I reckon is in our society, especially we have this like. We have this sort of point of view, whereas you want to do this, but you don't go for that. Don't go directly for that. What you got to do is you got to go over this way, get a job, play it safe, get a job, save money so that you can eventually go over and do what you really want to do. Whereas guys like us were probably discovered through the course of our lives, if you just went for what you wanted in the first place, you might have gone through some tough terrain, but you'd be in a much better place than if you diverted your attention just in order to make money. You know what I mean? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
It's funny, isn't it? Like, but we all fall into that trap.
Yeah, but I think it's naivety and being green, being experienced, and doesn't matter how many lectures you get from some motivational guy that came in and saw you when you were 12 or 15 or 18 years old, said make sure you do this and that when you go through life. Yeah, but you got to go through your own journey.
Do you reckon it's like there's a culture of guidance, like? Do you know what I mean? Like, 'cause when I was younger, like no one, I just wish someone would have come up to me and said that, like, Adam, just go for what you want.
Yeah.
You know, don't listen to anyone else. Don't worry about playing it safe.
Yeah, 100%. Oh,
But kids never hear that advice.
No,
it's always
yeah.
get a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Play it safe. It's like,
yeah. Where do we start? So I just think that the people who are the teachers, the principals, that sort of thing, they're obviously within a school environment. Therefore, their world is being within a school, the confines of a school.
Absolutely.
And they really have the influence of, say, a entrepreneur or a business owner who is involved with the school. So unless there's a teacher that's come from a business background and run their own business or done their own thing in life, if they've generally speaking, they would have gone to school, gone to uni, got their primary teaching degree, secondary teaching degree, and kudos to them. We need them in the school. I'm not
100%.
saying
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that's their that's their worldview. That's their worldview of the way they've been brought up, the way they've been educated, that sort of thing. So therefore, the kids within certain confines of whatever the curriculum is, that sort of thing, are only going to learn, hey, you should probably go to university. And you should probably go and get your degree. You should probably go and get a job, because that's people in that sphere of influence of those kids. That's all they're being taught.
Yep, for sure.
So unless those kids have parents who are entrepreneurs and business owners, help them guide them, or if they're surrounded by friends or friends that have that sort of thing, then they're never going to hear those things. And even like the funny thing is, well, like my dad especially is a serial entrepreneur, even though he was manager of a massive commercial piggery, but he also just worked his backside off with his own business, which is another piggery, and horse adjustment and buying and selling cars. But he was still like, go and be a doctor, go be a lawyer. Instead of saying, go and be a businessman. You know, like I never got that encouragement. I'm not saying anything bad about that, but I never got that encouragement to be that business person, you know.
Me either.
It was just go and play it safe. Go play it safe.
I wonder what that is. Like, what it's this like collective fear. Do you know what I mean? Like, it comes from a place of fear, I think. Like,
or maybe because I guess they've been brought up by their parents, and I know my dad's parents. He was just a poor farmer, you know. His father, and my mum's were. I think they were just tradies, you know. Actually, my nana owned a pub of all things. Actually, that's sorry. I played in the pub one day, but it's another story. And so I just think that most of the kids that are going through school and go to university, they just don't know any other way. You know, unless they're being shown a podcast or a motivational talk or something like that. Unless they're guided that way to open up their minds. I mean, I just wasn't even open up. I wasn't even open to the thought that I could run a business until I was about 32. You know?
For sure, man.
And so I was like, how good is this? I'm loving it, you know?
It's I don't know if you found this too, but it's tough when you're a kid. Like I might as well say I got expelled from school in year 9. You know, I just hated high school. It wasn't my thing.
You look like a rebel.
Yeah, I was back there, mate. But, you know, I'm not blaming anyone, but there was just, like, the school I went to, there was just no place for me whatsoever for someone who, you know, wasn't conventionally, you know, academic, or, you know, I was a scrapper, you know what I mean? And I love music, and I just wanted to do what I wanted to do, you know, but there's no network for kids like that, you know what I mean? It just seems, especially in a public school, that, you know, the top half of the kids who are academic and want to go, you know, the teachers focus there.
They can do maths, science and English well.
Yeah, you know what I mean? The teachers focus on those kids, and the other ones just get left behind, you know, and thrown out into the world. And
they could all be good roof tilers, or they could be amazing plumbers, or sparkies, or musicians, or artists.
Yeah, or entrepreneurs. Like, if you look at some of the most successful business people on earth, you know, come from those kind of backgrounds. They're not traditional, you know, academic backgrounds. You know, they're thinking outside of the box because they're forced to. You know what I mean? One
of my best friends, who lives in Bendigo, he was like dropped out of university year 1. He started a business, so he's an incredible software programmer. And he's now considered one of the best programmers in the world. And he's got 100 staff. He's my other best mate, his best mate. He's the CEO / kind of just does everything. He was an ex-vice principal.
Right.
And they've got 100 staff, and they're doing stuff on a worldwide scale. They've created some software that's just like no one can break it, no one can make anything like it, and they're just doing incredible things. And they'll probably sell their business for $1 billion one day. You know,
crazy,
amazing. And this guy's a university dropout. because he had the drive and ambition, and his thing, like my thing is music, his thing is programming software.
Yeah.
You know, I can never save my life. I tried to one day. I remember I was about 20. I tried to do SSL.
Yeah.
I was reading a book. I was like, I can't get this. You know, this is horrible.
Yeah.
But he's incredible at it, you know.
Well, mate, you're a step ahead of me because I've got no idea what SSL is. I know it's like an amazing mixing desk.
I probably didn't use the right words. Probably spelled an acronym, you know. But you know, yeah, absolutely. And I think, and I don't know much about the school Montessori, but I think they're more inclined towards that way. I'm literally just going for what I've read on a website or something.
Yep.
But I think they get more behind, you know, look at every individual student.
Yeah.
And help them out in what they're doing in life and try and support their talents.
Well, imagine how good our society would be. Like if you know, if every kid was encouraged to go down the path they want to go down. Do you know what I mean? Rather than having to conform to
pass maths in year 11.
Yeah, or you know, conform to like what society sees as a responsible citizen. You know what I mean?
I think it's just a resources matter and.
Yeah.
But even I mean, again, I was talking about, you know, schools with you before.
Yeah.
Even that perspective, I don't even know how much a private school gets behind an individual's different talents. You know what I mean? So I'm yet to discover that my child's 10 and 8.
Yep.
So I'm going through the whole which secondary school they go to next. You know,
yep.
So
just been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out, you know, what school, and even now I don't even know what my daughter's going to do. They could be a doctor, they could be a gymnast.
Yep.
You know, they could be anything they want to be.
Yep.
But I guess all I ask for is that, and I think as a parent you've just got to take the responsibility that you guide that journey as much as you can, as opposed to leaving up to the school to try and guide it, because it's never going to happen. Really. Yeah. Unless they're going to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, there's only a certain amount of kids who are going to want to go towards that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny how this thing, doctor or lawyer.
Yeah.
You know, like I think you need to separate them for a start. I mean, one of them is, you know, helping people. The other one is like pretty much the
take the money.
opposite.
Don't get me started.
So I don't know how we like pull those two things together. But anyway.
I'm just being a garrus, but you know what I mean? Like, but that typical career pathway, like we're talking about, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah. If you look at each individual kid, I mean, you'd know yourself having kids. I mean, every child's different. You know, even brought up in the same family, you can have two kids and
chalk and cheese.
Yeah, like same environment, same rules, same everything, and just chalk and cheese. You know, so yeah.
Gee, we've strayed, haven't we?
Yeah, mate. How long have we been going now? Like,
I feel the kids have been half an hour. That's good, mate. It's been good.
Yeah, so definitely, mate. Yeah, so maybe we should just, maybe like look at like any last sort of thoughts or
maybe a motivational speech for kids or something like that.
Yeah.
Do what you love. Do what you love.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, mate, it's been great being a part of this, and wishing you all the best in the Warm Tones journey.
Yep.
So, I guess just to round off, I guess.
Should we quickly pay Johnny out for not being here?
Yeah. John Vercoe. No, Johnny, hope you're doing well, mate.
Where are you, John? Come on, mate.
Rest up, John.
Yeah.
We know you're down at the pub drinking beer.
Yeah.
I guess the thrust of this, I think, conversation, mate, has been do what you love. Do what you love. And enjoy the journey.
Yep, 100%.
Enjoy the journey. Whatever you're doing in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're not enjoying it, get off that journey and find another one.
Yep.
You know?
Yep, 100%.
Do what you love.
Because you see so many people, man, like, I see a lot of people in my life who just say to me they'd love to do something, you know? They'd love to, even just, you know, a lot of people from Sydney who I grew up with, you know? Oh, you've moved up to the Sunshine Coast. Like, I'd love to do that. I'm like, well, do it then. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's like, just do it. Like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I think it gets down to that journey or that pathway of getting the mortgage commitment, getting the car commitment, getting overcommitted in general.
Yep, absolutely.
Which doesn't allow you to go and do the things you really actually want to do in life, you know.
Yeah,
so
and it's
all around the wrong way. Yeah.
It is, man, and that's the thing about our society. It's like we're encouraged to get into debt. You know what I mean? It's a way of keeping everyone nice and safe in their little box. You know what I mean? And
there's a bigger picture there, eh?
Yeah, 100%, man.
There's bigger something bigger's going on that we don't, or a lot of people aren't unaware of. But yeah.
Okay.
Try and get out of that rat race.
We're going to go down this rabbit hole.
Rat race, all right?
This could be another 2.5 hour podcast here.
It's been good, mate. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries. All right. Thanks, mate.
So, to all the kids, stay in school.
That's right. No, get out as quick as you can.
That's what I mean.
No, stay in school, but do what you love.
Until you're in year 9.
Yeah.
Do what you love.
Hey, vatos, you want some warm tones, is it? Warm tones.